This week, we are going to be talking about what you need to do when you are at a thrift store and you realize your plan is not working and you need to pivot. I'm Shay. I'm a full-time reseller.
I'm Tyler, part-time reseller.
And this week, we went on a thrift trip where we had a very solid plan of what we needed to find, and we thought we were taking you along with us, but it turned out that we had to pivot. And
yeah, we had a change of plans from necessity. We had to basically throw out our plan and do whatever we had to do to find some items.
Yes. So this category of the thrift store I think is really important for you guys to know, especially seasonally, and the price point you're going to love. So before we get into everything, you do have a t-shirt.
I do have a shirt, and it's Fact. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Or t-shirt beats Tyler.
All right, it's a little bit tight.
It's a
little snug.
But it's adorable, and I love it. So thank you for that.
It's also
and
The Office.
And who doesn't love The Office? And we're not going to make assumptions because we did that before and we learned. We've learned. So if you don't like The Office, that's okay too.
You want to get started?
Yeah, but you had a thank you, didn't you?
We do have a thank you before we get started. It's going to be Marina H. She's the newest channel member. And again, thank you to all of our channel members. It is the most amazing thing ever. And it makes our entire day, week, month, forever.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate that so much. I can't even tell you. And Marina, if you are listening, make sure that you join our Facebook group. It is one of the perks of being a channel member, and we have some really great conversations over there. Just recently, Tyler shared a bolo that was really seasonal and really cool, and a lot of people seem to like it and enjoy it, and it was kind of something related to a video we did. So if you want to see that type of stuff and you like to see bolos, make sure that you head over there. And if you have any questions for us, that is a great place to ask because we are answering everything because it's a very small, tight-knit group. So we'll see you over there. Thank you again.
So we started off our day with a very specific plan.
Okay, so we're going to the store. What's our plan for today?
So we're going to hit a couple of the not really local, but kind of local stores and our DVD secret spot.
So we'll be bringing you into the DVD secret spot. We are a little bit late on the day, so I don't know how much we're going to get, but we are desperate for DVDs. Oh my gosh.
So desperate.
We're dying. Like
miserably behind on DVDs. We haven't found a DVD in like a week or two. It's been bad.
It's been a long time. So the goal here is to find as many DVDs as possible and hopefully find something good. Now this is the place where we found the $600 DVD. And then a few other DVDs that have already sold, so...
I mean, 60, 70, 100 is listed and it's not sold yet. So, if we can't find DVDs here, I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, I think this is our only hope. So, let's do our best, see what we can find. So in order to accomplish that plan, we had two thrift stores in mind that we were aiming for, and one of them was more important than the other. So the first thrift store we headed to was a thrift store that we have had great luck for DVDs with.
Yes.
If you have been following this channel at all, you know this thrift store. We have found the $600 DVD that we've talked ad nauseum about here. But this thrift store is floor to ceiling DVDs, CDs, video games, basically anything retro, vintage, collectible, you're going to find in this store.
Yeah, it's basically nerd paradise. It's where I wish I could have lived my entire childhood.
Yes, and the owner is really nice. It is a small family-owned store, and we love going here. We were really hopeful that this was going to be the spot that really added to our DVD inventory. Unfortunately, the turnover is not great because they don't get a lot of foot traffic. They are a very small store, and they don't have a lot of room to add new inventory. So we did not have a lot of luck. We did find one CD. This is a WAAF CD. It looks like the comps for this are around $20 to $25, so not amazing, but it is something to add to the inventory, and it is not clothing related, so eBay will like that. But Tyler did find something as well.
Yes, so I found a Wii game. It's Wii Sports, and it's a staple for selling games and totally worth it. Had a nice conversation with the guy about it.
Is it playable?
You know, but it's let me tell you something. It's a $30 game. So I'm just going to give it to you for the $5. Don't worry, give it to him for $10. That's fine. If you have an issue, bring him back.
Well, thank you.
Even though it may not have been a good buy.
So this store unfortunately did not work out for us. And as you guys know, as resellers, when you are outsourcing and you have a specific plan, you still have to find inventory. We are constantly needing to list 10 items a day. And that means that every thrift trip we go on really needs to be productive in some way possible, so we were getting nervous moving on to the next store. So the next store we decided to head to was a Savers, and it was not too far from here, but it's not a Savers that we go to super often because they recognize brands and they price accordingly.
Now, some of the people that have participated in our lives will probably recognize this store because it's one of the ones that we hit on a semi-regular basis because it's right next to the 24 hours post office and we kind of live there because we never seem to make it in time before the post office closes near us.
Right. So this store, we decided to head to the DVD section to hopefully, accomplish our goal of adding DVDs. And, well, Tyler, you did the DVD section. How'd that go?
No dice. Nothing. It was just more pain and more anxiety, just scanning and looking and going and trying to grind it out with no results.
Yes. And this store, as we said, does recognize brands. So we moved into the shoe section, and the shoe section actually was pretty sparse here. There wasn't a ton there. It looks like they may be changing over inventory or something of that nature. But unfortunately, no dice again. And shoes are usually a pretty solid investment for us. So we were getting real nervous. This means that we'd spent a few hours out on the road and there was nothing. We really only had a few items to show for it and not worth the gas that we spent to get there. So we decided that we were going to hit a section of the store that always does well for us and that is generally priced pretty low because the thrift stores aren't aware of all of the things that we know. So the category that we headed to was sweaters.
Sweaters are just a New England staple. So we love sweaters. There seems to be significant opportunity in the sweater category to capitalize on the brand unfamiliarity and just the disconnect for the store because they don't recognize a lot of the items that we pick up on a regular basis and sell consistently. And we were so desperate. We needed to move to something that would give us some kind of result.
So when you're going into the sweater category, there's three main things you want to be aware of outside of brand. Now, we've done plenty of videos talking about what brands sell well, and you can check out our other videos for that. So when you move into the sweater category, you might be thinking, okay, I know there are great brands in sweaters. That's simple. Why is that so important? But this isn't going to be about brands. There are three things that you can look for outside of brands that will make you money in the sweater category and in a way that the thrift stores don't really think about. So number one is material. We all know that cashmere is great, but materials like cashmere, mohair, merino wool, alpaca, all of that type of stuff is going to fetch you a great dollar amount, and it doesn't have to be a good brand. So if you see a Charter Club sweater that's 100% cashmere, you're going to want to look that up. Material can trump brand in this case.
The second thing that we always consider and put in the cart to make a decision on is where was the item made. So if it's made in an exotic location, whether it's United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, Iceland, New Zealand, Australia, it is always worth a second glance. Do the research, spend the time, because oftentimes you are leaving money on the table if you are not looking at these items and picking them up on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, country is a great thing to look at because oftentimes these are brands that I, thrift stores, anyone has not heard of before, but they carry such a good dollar amount that you're going to want to pick them up, but the thrift stores are going to have priced them low because they don't know what they are. So absolutely make sure you're looking them up. Now, number three is condition. Now, I know, and a lot of you are like me, you don't like to do a lot of cleanup, and I'm with you. I don't want something that's stained or holey or anything like that. But for sweaters, pilling and pulls are a condition issue that thrift stores look at and say, we need to price this down because it's not in great condition. But it's simple for us as resellers to fix. So we've got two tools that we use for that. We've got the Snag Nabbit, which is like a $3 tool, and it is amazing. I can't sing its praises enough. And then there's the Sweater Shaver, which will get rid of pilling and make your item look almost new once you're done. So between those two things, you can take a sweater that they priced down to $3 because they thought it was in bad condition and make it worth whatever it would have been worth with no condition issues at all, which is amazing.
Yeah, so speaking as the person that fixes things, it's super easy to run a Sweater Shaver over some pills and just buzz it all down and make it look brand new. You cannot tell the difference. It's like new. There's no problems with it, and it's going to fetch that high dollar amount again.
Right. So the first item we found was this Anthropologie ugly sweater, and when I found this in the thrift store, I had to run over to Tyler right away because this reminded us so much of an Anthropologie skirt that we'd found previously. It was ugly. It was horrible.
It was the thing of nightmares. It looked alien almost. It was fuzzy and just no.
Now, I went back and looked at my old listing photos for this skirt, and it doesn't look that bad in listing photos. So, don't come for us. It really was that bad in person. But this sweater really looked like it could be its sister. I mean, if we wanted to go for a Christmas vibe, like this was the look. I'm telling you, it was. Now, the tags are a little bit different, and if you look at this Anthropologie tag, you notice that it looks probably vintage, and it's likely that the thrift store did not recognize it because it's very hard to read, and it's ugly, so I do think that factored into the price point. So it was a great price, and we knew that ugly sells because that skirt sold for great money, so it went in the cart for a great price.
So the next item we found was a St. James sweater. Not to be confused with St. John. You definitely want to pick up those sweaters. The Santana knit, 10 out of 10. This is St. James. It's a French brand. They're actually well known for the Breton stripe sweater, which they invented back in the 1800s. It is just the traditional sailor vibe. This was a fisherman sweater with the very heavy, thick neck.
It was wool.
It was wool. Totally warm and something that you can just cozy up against a fireplace and enjoy a nice hot cup of cocoa.
So we picked up the St. James sweater because it said made in France, but when I comped it out, I quickly realized that these sweaters sell for anywhere between $50 and $100. It's really hard to narrow down that price point for this because I wasn't able to find the specific style, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to get around $50. And for the price they were asking, I think that is an absolute win.
Okay, so we found a thing. It was something that I did not think was real. I did not expect to ever have this conversation in a thrift store. It's a possum sweater?
Now, I'm going to be honest here, and Tyler doesn't even know this. When I first saw this sweater, I picked it up because it said made in New Zealand, and I did not look at the material. Tyler did, as soon as he saw it. And yes, it is possum. It is a possum blend with wool.
I just was speechless. I'm astounded that that's a thing. Upon research, possum fur comes from Australia and New Zealand. It's actually warmer than merino wool.
So it's something that you didn't know could be used for sweaters like possum, or if it's things like alpaca, angora, things like that. Even in lower end brands like Anthropologie, which is a bread and butter, it is going to bring that price point up for you. So absolutely be looking at that, and the fact that it was New Zealand was definitely a double whammy for me. So we threw that in the cart. We're thinking that's going to be around $50 to $60. So before we move on to the next one, we just have to mention that when we were looking into possum fur and possum sweaters for this video, we noticed that possums in sweaters are a thing. And I know that that has nothing to do with reselling, and I know that you're probably thinking, what is this going to do for my business? It's going to make you happy, and isn't that what we all need?
Yeah, it's just the best 5 to 10 minutes of your time. Take a look at all of the possum sweater wearing pictures out there, videos. It's just everything that you need in the world.
And pro tip, and we're going to link this in the comments below if we can, there is a possum that snowboards.
Yeah,
and that is amazing.
Great.
And we would have shared it in the video, but we can't for obvious reasons. But it's going to be in the link description. So if you need a smile, go right now. Pause and come back. Okay. You guys are back. The next item we found was a Balmoral sweater, which was made in Scotland. So we put that in the cart because made in Scotland right away tells me it is worth looking up. But unfortunately,
we did notice a few holes in the sweater. Unfortunately, they were in a place that would be very difficult to repair and not be noticeable. So with the condition problems, we are going to have to leave this behind. Interesting side note, not related to any sweaters. Balmoral, which is the name of the sweater that we left behind, is the summer home castle to the royal family that has made the news for a very unfortunate reason as of late.
Another sweater that we found was this J. Crew cashmere sweater. This is a tie-dye sweater. It is 100% cashmere, and I think that because J. Crew is really abundant in our thrift stores, the thrift store did not really find this really exciting to them, so they priced it way down. But as you know, with J. Crew, there is a little tag on the interior that gives you a style number. For this one, it was AK035. Typing that in, I was able to find out that not only does this sweater go for anywhere from 50 to 100, dependent on size and all of that type of stuff, but it's also a colorway that is not available for sale on Poshmark right now. There is a pink and a blue one. We found the blue one. The pink one is available to purchase, but the blue one is not. So we're the only ones in town. So that means we get to set the price point, which I love. That is my favorite thing to have happen. And it is pretty trendy right now. So I'm really excited for it.
I mean, the fact that we're the only one and there's a bunch of solds means it has a great sell-through rate. So that's an easy decision. It's anything that has a 100% or better sell-through rate, buy all of it. Yeah. That's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, so if you find J. Crew 100% cashmere, make sure you're looking up that style number because oftentimes that is going to be a diamond in the rough that you absolutely want to pick up. Now, at the end of this, we only found a few other sweaters that were not super exciting, but these Madewell sweaters were both really, really, really cheap. We've actually sold one of these in the past before, and they were this cheap, I believe, because of condition issues. So both of these sweaters had some amount of pilling, one more than the other, and they just kind of looked worn because they are. But we know that we can fix these up real easy, and with the price point, we're probably only looking at flipping these for $20, but that's still like a 5 times margin.
Yeah, I mean, at $2-3 a piece, it's a no-brainer. If it's anything that's an easy fix, if there's just pilling or pulls, it takes 5 minutes to fix. It's uplisted, looks brand new, and you make the $20, and it's a quick flip.
Yeah. So that was our thrift trip. Now, it wasn't what we wanted it to be. We didn't find any DVDs, and we still have to do that. So future video? I don't know. But how do you feel it went?
I think it shows a commendable ability to pivot and to adapt to the reality of thrifting. You're not going to go out with a set plan and be able to execute it every time. You have to adapt. You have to change things up to be successful. You have to go to where the items are. You can't just go to where you want the items to be. And at the end of the day, it's going to be, we have to do what's right for our business, finding the items to list and switching up and being able to capitalize on lack of knowledge and lack of awareness by the store is a tremendous way to do that.
So I want to turn this over to you guys. We get asked all the time, what do you do when you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of name brands, or if you're outsourcing and you're just not finding anything, what do you do? How do you make the most of the thrift trip? So we want to know, how do you guys pivot in those situations? Leave that in the comments below and help each other out. Let's talk to each other and see if we can kind of get everybody on a page where their next thrift trip is not going to be a total loss. They're able to pivot. Let's put those ideas in the comments.
I mean, everyone needs to avoid those slow days as much as possible. And
I know I do.
If you're able to pick something up from the comments or learn something else from our videos, it's all in the name of helping each other. So that's what we want to do.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for contributing to this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back really soon with a new video.